Another time to discuss yet another interesting career option. This is Career Talk on. I am Lara, Emmanuel. On Career Talk, we are focused on giving you extensive information on the different career options that are available and the area of specializations attached to these career options. I have with me a guest in the studio and we'll be discussing planning. What part of planning we'll be discussing today? You stay tuned, stay with us, and we will be right back.
An event planner is someone who coordinates all aspects of professional meetings, choose meeting locations, arrange transportations, and coordinate many other details. Being an event planner requires a diverse set of skills such as paying attention to details, good communication skills, problem-solving skills, complex multitasking, creative thinking, budgeting, and negotiation. Event planners coordinate every detail of an event. For example, event planners meet with clients to determine the event purpose. There are many types of events as there are different types of event planners such as wedding planners who specialize in helping couples to have a well-coordinated wedding ceremony. Donor coordinators help request for funds by throwing fundraising at events. Catering service managers who are in charge of food preparation and drinks for guests. Event social media coordinators help in promoting events on social media to gain attendees and exposure for the event. And communication managers who are in charge of promotional events.
Talk on Ogtv, and I am still Lara, Emmanuel. I mentioned earlier about planning. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That is the common saying. But today on Career Talk, we'll be discussing event planning. And we have a guest, a professional at event planning. His name is Mr. Adekunle Adetunji. He has a bachelor's degree in industrial chemistry, a master's degree in environmental chemistry and pollution control. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, he's also the CEO of the Awesome Touch event. Welcome, Mr. Niyi.
I'm pleased to be here.
We are glad to have you. You have an interesting profile here. You're a graduate of industrial chemistry.
Yes, I am.
You also have a master's degree in environmental chemistry.
Yes, I do.
So, I'm yet to understand the connection between that and event planning. But before then, before you answer that question, please give us a brief insight into your educational background for the young minds who wants to be an industrial chemist.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I started my journey, definitely the basics is for you to have your whole level being a science student, and you go through UTME, post-JAM, and I wanted to do chemistry, industrial chemistry. It wasn't as if I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I did my first degree in the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and I made sure I had good grades when I was coming out because I envisaged I might have a switch. So I didn't want it to be as if because I didn't have a good grade, I had to have a switch. So I had to put in my best. Going through the university studying chemistry is something that is not easy.
I know.
Chemistry itself, it's volatile and is something that many people actually dread, but I find it very interesting. I studied for 5 years and it was actually very challenging and interesting. So when I finished, I went for service, and after immediately I was through my service, I went for my master's.
Okay.
And I did my master's at the prestigious University of Ibadan. I decided to narrow down to environmental chemistry and pollution control. And why I decided to do this was because I was actually looking at creating a niche for myself in the environmental, as an environmental scientist. And at that time when I was doing my master's also, I decided to put in as a chartered safety professional with the Institute of Safety Professional of Nigeria, ISPON.
Okay.
And Well, it was an interesting
Wow,
journey.
you sound like chemistry has always been your first love. It has always been your focus
Yes.
of study. So here's the interesting question, because I'm also a chemist. I studied chemistry, yes, my first degree, and here I am as a broadcaster. Although we're not focusing on me today, the focus is on you.
But we have similarity.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
Diversion.
Maybe one day I'll come on Career Talk to, discuss.
You'll be the guest.
Yes, be the guest and the presenter. So why this switch from chemistry to event planning? I mean, they are two worlds apart.
Okay, well, as a young person in the university, looking at the situation of the nation, how uncertain it is outside there, I decided to lay my hands on some things while I was in school. Planning of events is not the first thing I did.
Okay.
There was one time I was learning how to make shoes, and I was hawking shoes. I take it from hostels to hostel when I was in school.
Wow.
But I didn't, well, that didn't last for so long. So later on, well, my mom used to be a caterer, and although not, she doesn't really do it again. There was one ASU strike. I think ASU strike was what gave birth to everything. There was this major ASU strike in 2009, and we were home for like 5 months or 6 months, I don't know. I was just being idle, and I just felt I could do something my time, and I just said, let me go learn this. It was supposed to be, at the time I was learning, I was just trying to keep myself busy, get engaged, and I want to be able to boast to my mates also that I actually utilized the strike. And what I had at the back of my mind was, okay, this is going to be a side also for me. And sincerely, that was what I had in mind. So after the strike, when I got back to school, I had to stop because I didn't want it to affect my performance in school. When I went on IT, I discovered that out of 6 months, I did this for 4 months.
So you did catering?
Yes.
Wow.
I did it for 4 months, and my IT was just for 2 months. And later on, when I go back to school for my final year, I had to just do it side by side with my academics.
And it didn't affect your academics?
Well, at some point, I had to set my priorities right. My academics comes first. If it's going to affect my academics, then that's to wait. Okay,
talking about catering, because you said that event focused on baking, catering, finger foods, mocktails and cocktails. Did you go through any trainings? Because I believe that not everybody can cook. Cook well enough to be served at events. Not everyone knows that this in-depth knowledge of preparing mocktails and cocktails, baking, Did you go through any form of trainings?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Like I said, I mentioned that I leveraged on the fact that we were on strike.
Okay.
I had my training at an institute in Abeokuta here.
Okay.
So apart from that training, I did so much online training. There were times I went to Lagos for a day training. I had so many trainings like that. And I did a lot of personal development.
Okay.
Research on Google, ask questions, move with people that have passed through this line, try to relate, form alliance and friendship with people that I know they've been to where I'm going to. And basically, it's been fun.
Wow, I like the fact that it's been fun. And then being a man, in this part of the world, as a Nigerian, women are known for cooking. And when it comes to professionalism, women are known to be bakers. They prepare the food, the mocktails, they're the caterers. So what was the reception like? Well,
if I was doing this probably some decades ago, probably 20, 30 years, probably the reception would have been a bit hostile. But I've come to discover that when you do something when a certain sex does something that is not peculiar to that gender, it's actually turns out to be
a plus.
Not a plus alone, a cutting edge.
Okay.
Because, like when you see a lady that barbs well, guys are known for barbing. When a lady barbs well, she is a plus for her. It's a comparative advantage for her. The same thing for me. And one thing that has actually really, really helped me is my education. Because when people hear that okay, the degrees I have and I still do this, they tend to be fascinated at, wow. So it's not as if you never had a choice. Okay, someone was asking me very recently that, why are you doing this? And I said, he asked me what my qualifications were, and I told him, I said, so why are you doing this? Is it that you didn't get a job or something? I said, I got offers. I got federal government offers.
Wow, you got offers?
Yes, I got offers. I was still talking to my wife some times ago that there was one day I had an interview with a federal parastatal, and I had a wedding cake to make for my cousin. So I didn't want anybody to know I had the interview, including my parents. I was mute about it. I went on to do the wedding cake. I just kept mum. After the interview had passed, I was joking about it. I told them, and these people called me for an interview. My parents were like, so why didn't you guys? I said I wasn't. They were furious. Because number one, being the only son, they wanted more. They cannot invest so much in you, and they are telling us
exactly the next question I'm about to ask you, the parent. Because you can't ignore the parent factors. They are important to us. So talking about our parents, most parents want their words to have a job, to choose a career path that will give them job security. So what job security are attached? Is there that high level of job security when it comes to being an event planner, being a caterer?
Well, I'll say yes.
Okay.
And it's a creative industry. You're going to do a lot of you're going to put a lot of leverage on how creative you are, how you can actually make something out of nothing. I would say it's an industry that's, in fact, it's a green land. And talking about my parents, as you would have expected, it was a no initially. They didn't want it. They wanted me to, even if I was going to do it, they wanted it to be a side hustle. And they were initially not supportive. They didn't want, not that they didn't like it, but just they wanted the fact that, okay, I'm working my certificate. So that was it. It was a struggle. But what actually made them to train the Torah and start to support me fully was, okay, there was a year I just gave them my statement of accounts at the end of the year. That is my statement of accounts. And they were like, who owns this money? I said, that is the money I've made so far from doing this business. They were like, wow. Not far from that, I said, I wanted to buy a car. And they were like, we don't have money to give you. I said, I don't need money, I'll buy myself. Like, wow. And I asked my mom, I said, you've been a civil servant, and if you want to buy a car, you have to go for a cooperative. So if this can fetch me this, I think there's much more. Okay. So at that point, they gave me the 100%. In fact, to give them that credit, I started with my mom's equipment. I mentioned that
she's a caterer.
She was a caterer. So I started with her equipment, and my dad, anywhere he goes to tomorrow, it will be like, meet my son. He's an industrial chemist. He has masters in this, but he has decided to be doing this, and he's doing very fine. And I tell you, people that I've met doing this business, I probably wouldn't have met them
as an industrial chemist.
I probably wouldn't
have. Okay,
I tend to interface with people day in, day out.
We're still speaking with ADENIYI, an event planner, a caterer, a baker. He does mocktails, cocktails, and the list is just endless. And this is still Career Talk on Ogtv. Right now, we have to go on a quick break for the youngsters, for us to listen to them on which career path they are willing to choose. Please stay with us.
I like to be a biochemist because I love working in the laboratory, and I want to help people to know how to live healthier lives.
I want to be a chemist. I have passion for the subject called chemistry, though my first chemistry teacher fueled my passion and also boosted my passion for the subjects.
I want to be a farmer when I grow up. A farmer produces the food that we eat.
Career Talk on Ogtv, and I am Lara Emmanuel. I have with me a guest today who is an event planner at ADENIYI, and we're still discussing event planning. So, ADENIYI, how long have you been an event planner?
Well, over a decade.
Over a decade, wow.
Yes.
So that means you know the nitty-gritty, you know almost everything about event planning.
Well, I know many things, but I can't say everything because, you know, like I said, it's a creative industry, and you tend to learn, relearn, and unlearn.
And unlearn.
So
Okay.
it's not something you cannot, nobody can claim that he or she is an island. There's a lot of innovations are coming out, a lot of...
Even as an event planner?
Yes.
So my knowledge about event planners, because I've met quite a few, is that all they do is, you know, manage the event, take care of the event. I mean, make sure everything goes well. And when it comes to catering, when it comes to baking, when it comes to DJ and other parts of the event, they hire people who are experts. But here you are. You're not just an event planner. You're a caterer. You're a baker. You do almost everything a party needs. So how is it possible for you to juggle between all that and still be an excellent event planner?
Okay, when we talk about event planning, even if you want to do solely planning, it's not something that you can do, it's not a one-man show. You need to have your coordinators, you need to have your team. And for me, I have a team. Okay, let me take for example, there are times you have multiple events to start with.
Okay.
I cannot be everywhere every time. So in such scenarios, what we leverage on is actually the teamwork. We have our people, when it comes to cocktails and mocktails, I can do it perfectly. But I have people, if need be, that handle it. I have students that I've even trained that are doing very fine in that field, that I can even say, okay, come do this.
Okay.
When it comes to cakes and, okay, my wife handles the cake part now. I used to do that before, but she handles that now. Cakes and desserts, she handles that. When it comes to the finger foods, I have guys too that handle it. In fact, my younger sister just launched her own outfit. She's also a graduate from FUNAB, Garioga.
Okay.
What she does is serve gari at parties, and
The gari,
want to imagine-
the gari we take at the
yes,
the cassava.
you know
cakes.
there was one day she went for, and
Okay.
she served over 300 guests, and people were clamoring for more.
For gari.
Yes.
How did you serve? How was it served? How was it packaged?
It was served, okay, it's a tray, gari, it has prawn, it has crab, it has fish.
Oh, that is executive gari now.
No,
that's not the normal gari we have at home.
That's the educational touch.
Okay.
You understand? So what I'm trying to say is that there is division of labor.
Okay.
Everybody knows what to do.
So you
And
don't do it all.
At times, I'm a vendor. At times, I'm an event planner. When I'm an event planner, I don't do everything by myself. Things are going to flop. At times, I have friends also in the industry. Okay, come do this, come do this, come do that. And I just do coordination. Even at events that I'm not planning, but I'm doing multiple things. Most times, I don't do more than coordinating. Everybody, okay, like I was at 5 Palms in Lekki last weekend for an event. We were doing like 4 different things. The only thing I was doing was to stay where my guests were and to coordinate, to see things, how they were done. I have capable hands. I have a team that they do excellently. They can work without supervision.
So we can't ignore the fact that this program is for the young stars. So when it comes to event planning, what are the areas of specialization? Because I know event planning can be something very enormous. I mean, it has other parts of it that we
Okay, when it comes to event planning, event planning is, you know, let me correct this notion.
Okay.
An event planner, what it does at the event is minimal to what the event planner has done before the event.
Okay.
The large chunk of the work is done before the event. on the event is just the finishing touches and ensure that things go seamlessly. But what has been done behind is actually enormous.
So what are those responsibilities that an event planner does?
Okay, it starts with picking all for the clients, knowing the client's budget. What do you want? Okay, what's the budget? Which all do you want us to use? Which one will you prefer? Okay, these come up with options, come up with their prices, come up with a list of vendors, come up with a to-do list for the clients, probably the couple or the celebrants. Okay, this, have you done this? Follow up on the clients and celebrants' personal stuff. Have you, okay, your clothing, your hotel reservations, your the decorator. Okay, are we getting the decorator? Which decorator we prefer? Your photographer, cinematography, makeup, and a whole lot of other things that.
Okay. So ADENIYI, this is Nigeria. At the end of the day, this is Africa. We are all event planners. I mean, I can plan my event.
No.
I am just saying.
That's a mistake many people.
That is what. Yes.
Because no one comes to event and you need to learn also. That's how many people you go to. You know, there are many people. Sorry, that what they do is they plan birthday party of 10 people, and they say they're event planners and they want to plan an event of 500 guests. It's going to flop. We don't want an amateur user event as a lead concept.
What I'm driving at is that, you know, this is Nigeria. We can plan our event at the end of the day. So how as an event planner, these challenges are there for you? Not everybody recognizes the responsibility for an event planner. So how do you handle this? And then what is your advice for the young ones out there, so they can, you know, come into the profession as an event planner?
Okay, well, people feeling they are event planners, especially people like my auntie, this is this and that. We hear people saying this. You know, even the elite, you hear them say, I'm an event planner and this and that. And you tell them, okay, when you expect some things from them, you just discover that they are blank. Everybody's an event planner. The same way everybody is not a pharmacist. You can prescribe, you can say use anti-malaria, use antibiotics, but you can't claim to be a pharmacist. The same way you can't claim to be an event planner if you're not trained to be. And I want to say, event planning, I think youth should actually find a place in event planning that they can create their niche for themselves. Because you know it needs a lot of energy. Get educated, get skilled. You can decide to go for education. You can decide to go for your skills. If you want to do event planning, don't just assume you are one. There are a lot of things. There are so many ways you can learn. You can learn on YouTube, online courses, physical courses, and a whole lot.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program today. It's Career Talk on Ogtv. Thank you for watching. Thank you. See you another time. Bye.